Today on Adelante Chicago, a success story you're going to love. A young man beats the odds and becomes a West Point graduate. That Hermosa Park man joins a select group poised to become one of our future leaders. Also, Swedish Covenant Hospital is getting ready for its annual gala. This year, it's going to benefit a family birthing center. One of the chairs of that event, Dr. Rivera, will be joining us to explain what that means for our city. Plus, he comes to us all the way from Venezuela and is considered one of the most talented young composers. He's in the Lyric Opera's new production of La Bohème. He's going to join us. And finally, it's called El Paseo Boricua. Ana Belaval has a story behind a string of doors that are bringing new life to Humboldt Park. All that and more right here on Adelante Chicago. Come join us. Hello to you and welcome to Adelante Chicago. Bienvenidos. I'm Lourdes Duarte. Thank you so much for joining us today. From presidents to astronauts, West Point has long produced some of America's greatest leaders, but with only a 9% acceptance rate, getting into the U.S. Military Academy is a long shot. So how did the son of a single mom growing up in one of Chicago's toughest neighborhoods beat the odds? WGN's Julian Cruz brings us the remarkable story of West Point grad Dennis Martir.
Dennis Martir overcame tremendous challenges, beginning with a drug dealer father he never knew, locked up long ago in the federal penitentiary. But with the help of his determined mother, this promising young man sidestepped the street gangs and violence of Hermosa Park.
It was tough all of my life. As a kid, I've been shot at multiple times.
It's been a harrowing journey for Dennis Martir, watching friends and classmates through the years succumb to gang violence. Bullet holes on the side of the Hermosa Park apartment building where Martir grew up, coming perilously close, bullets whizzing over the young boy's head.
It was always my mom keeping me away from trouble.
Martir's devoted mother, Yolanda Cancel, determined to keep the gangs at bay.
I wasn't going to let the streets have my son.
Cancel taking extraordinary measures to ensure her son's safety.
If he wanted to play, I would take him to the park with his friends, or I would have them come over.
I was never allowed to sleep at anybody's house. I was never allowed to go play outside.
I put my life on hold to make sure that his life was going to be a good life, and he was going to graduate out of college and he was going to become someone. How about this when we went to Boston for the Red Sox? Remember that one?
Grandpa.
The single mom sacrificing to provide a solid foundation for both her son and daughter with the considerable support of loved ones. Martir's godfather, Victor Abreu, his grandmother, with mom Yolanda always surrounding Martir with love. From a young age, nurturing the promising young boy, a standout on the diamond and in the classroom, thanks to his mother's tireless efforts, and the late Darvis Abreu, who became a loving stepfather to the talented young man.
About 8 years old, he came into our life, and he, put me in the right path.
Abreu, on holidays, often driving the family to his country cottage out in Hennepin, Illinois.
And we would go out there every weekend, and we had 25 acres, and I cut the grass. I'd stay away from Chicago.
With the help of mentor and West Point grad David Ocklander, who recognized Martir's potential, the young man began the long process of applying to the U.S. Military Academy with a recommendation from Congressman Luis Gutierrez. But just before Martir learned his fate, tragically, Darvis Abreu was killed in a car accident. Within 24 hours, the grieving family got the news.
That day, Dennis got appointed to West Point.
It was great, but it was also hard because the person that really wanted me to go to West Point wasn't there at the time.
Martir adapted well to his new environment, surviving the tremendous challenges and thriving at West Point. His graduation, a moment his proud mother will always remember.
And that's when I started crying, and I started tearing.
Welcome back!
Martir's Puerto Rican community in Humboldt Park welcoming home a native son. Now a second lieutenant, he'll be off to basic training and an 8-year stint in the U.S. Army, with a long-range plan to return home someday, more than likely for a life of public service.
I want to give back, and I want to lead.
And that's why this determined young man who turned 23 on September 11th is one of Chicago's very own. Julian Cruz, WGN News.